Hey, my wonderful, wonderful people, a pleasant evening to you. Listen to me, wonderful people. And this may sound really harsh, but it really isn't. It can actually save your life physically and psychologically, even emotionally and mentally, even socially. I should have just added everyone or everything. If the first four words that comes from the man's mouth, ladies, makes no sense to you, you can't co-join them, you cannot comprehend them, you cannot fathom them, you cannot simply, you just cannot understand them, that is a man that maybe, and it's a very strong maybe, you should not romantically get involved with. The circumference that he's around may be like this. It's a peephole, if so be it, if it is that even big enough for you to look through. In other words, because the circumference is so narrow and the diameter isn't that wide, what happens is that he will sink you lower than hell. He will sink you lower than hell because that is all he knows. His vocabulary doesn't pass the word vocabulary, if he even knows that word. If two cannot agree, how can they walk? A lot of people don't understand the importance of that scripture that God has emitted, promulgated. If you cannot, if the emotional intelligence and maybe the intelligence quotient, to an extent, to a large extent, but if the emotional intelligence doesn't have a symbiotic relationship, doesn't have a smooth, very almost like I want to use my words carefully, but a very harmonious, unified relationship, I am telling you, it is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for the disaster. That man will pull you down more than an avalanche when adversities strike, because they will strike. The teeth, the tongue, and the mouth, the lips, will meet, and they're going to be entangled in ways that may be very difficult to untangle. Ladies, you can't be here emotionally, and he's way down there emotionally in terms of the intelligence. So he's unintelligent emotionally, or emotionally unintelligent. It is a recipe for disaster. I'm seeing some things on TikTok that I can hardly believe. I don't know if it is an anger that has been built up over the years. Maybe this has been birthed through feminism. I don't know, or a sense of, men are saying we're reclaiming our spot as the patriarchs of the world. It's a man's world. I don't know what it is, but the enemy has let loose, and men nowadays have no qualms in demolishing women. They have no qualms in bringing women down. If the first four words you cannot comprehend, women, this is a man that you should not be entangled with romantically. This is not a man that you should get involved with sexually. Because when the rubber meets the road, it's going to gash a fire. And you may just get burnt up badly. And oftentimes women get the bad end of the stick. Especially our black women. Somehow they don't understand. In a sense, we are marginalized. And I'm making this comparison not out of pity, because we don't need that, in comparison to our white counterparts or Asian counterparts, Indian counterpart, the Syrian counterpart, meaning they're treated with far more respect than the black woman. Now, they may say the black woman tends to be vulgar and lewd and crude, but it's something that has been sold to the women. It has been sold to them. They have been taught that. Even in movies, for them to be recognized, they play very lewd, crude, vulgar roles in order for their names to be called when the top Grammy Awards and the Oscar Awards and the Dove Awards, well, I'm not called Dove in this, all those secular awards, I should say, are being given. and you're considered a great actress when you play the prostitute, for example, when you play the loud and vulgar woman, for example, when you curse a man out, for example, and you're the strong feminist, never dignified, classy woman. The late, great, venerable, esteemed, notable Cicely Tyson turned down quite a number of roles. She said, I'm a queen, and those are the roles that I will play. If I play, like, for example, somewhat of a, not really peasant, but where I'm not necessarily wealthy, I'm not going to play a prostitute. I'm not going to play something that degrades the black woman. I'm going to show that the black woman is a dignified woman, a woman with class, a woman with grace, a woman with elegance, a woman who was fearfully and wonderfully made by God, for example. So because of that marginalization, what has happened is that men have felt the need and feel comfortable off among the other ethnic groups to demolish the black one. And because the reason they even have to do, they do that, it is because with the other ethnic groups, especially the white, you're all right when you're white, I'm being sarcastic, they will be held accountable. They know that if they mess with their white counterparts and the laws of the land catch up with them, which it will, they know that their fate will not be great. So they don't mess with them. They have to show them respect. Do they abuse them at times? I'm sure they have. I'm sure that there are these, white Caucasian women, the Asian women, the Syrian women who have made reports and, about their black, partner, male partner who have abused them. I'm not saying that they don't get it, but I'm telling you, in terms of the black women, the scores of black women, to the point where they have been annihilated. They're no longer on planet Earth with us today. And this is not a post to rant and rave to be against men. Men, I can say the very same to you. If the first 4 words that comes from a woman, you cannot comprehend, it makes no sense, and this is something that happens frequently, it means that this is not a relationship for you. You should not be entangled with her, because I'm telling you the circumference is this small and she's going to just pull you down. It can't open wide and expand to welcome all the good things that life has to offer. Jezebel is able to be fit in, Delilah, but you have them in the male species and the as well, not just the female. I'm using the word species here. So not just the female sex, but also the males. So if you cannot understand the first 4 words that comes from the mouth of the individual, that is not somebody that you get involved with, ladies, men, in terms of having a male partner, sexual partner, romantic partner, to be your boyfriend, to be your fiance, and then to be your husband. It is more than a red flag. It is a stop sign. Not just a red flag waving, say, hey, hold on here, oh, slow down. No, it says S-T-O-P, stop. And then it says, turn back. Do not continue further. Don't. Because you're going to be entangled in a web that may be difficult for you to be unentangled. I'm just using that word. Men, if the first 4 words that comes from that woman's mouth you cannot comprehend, it may be a relationship that it's not best for you, it's not fitting for you to get involved with. If it sounds like gibberish or gibberish, depending on how you're putting it, if it is emotionally unintelligent, if it is verbally unintelligent, if it is psychologically unintelligent, it is not a relationship for you, because you're going to pull you down, further down the corridors of hell, where the worst kind of demons exist, and you may not survive. Do not get involved with people whose IQ and EQ are below par. No disrespect, but I've seen too many people watch their lives being demolished. They have been humiliated, embarrassed, and I've gotten singed by people like that before. You don't mess with fleas. Think on these things. I only say this to save a relationship, to save a human being. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me a like.